Hello, and thank you for tuning into this week's Mayor's Update. As always, we have a lot of important information to share with you here, so please feel free to share this video with your friends, family, relatives, and everyone else you think may find this information helpful over the course of the coming week. We are back in my office this week after being outside at Overlook Case last week due to the inclement weather that's currently happening right now as we're filming. But thank you to everyone who submitted very positive feedback about us doing these videos in different places. You know, it was really great to hear that a lot of people liked seeing the different changes that we've been announcing. So we'll periodically be doing those here and there, so please do keep an eye out for when things do change, but we are back to our usual setting here in the Mayor's office in Gardner City Hall. I'd like to start off by thanking our dispatchers and our animal control officers. This past week was National Dispatch Appreciation Week and Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week. Our dispatchers and our animal control officers, both out of the police station, are a great asset to our city, and they perform very excellent work to the residents, not only of the Gardner community, but of the surrounding towns as well, for the regional services that we provide through those departments. So I do want to thank them in a special way in this update before we get started. Our vaccine program is still continuing very strong as we move forward in the vaccination process. Governor Baker has announced that beginning Monday, April 19th, anyone age 16 years and older is eligible to start receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, our registrations that we are currently holding are able to be booked by people who are 16 years of older, even if that registration event is before April 19th. So please feel free to start registering to receive your COVID-19 vaccine if you so choose to at the PACC. Again, our registration is on the city's website, www.gardner-ma.gov, or you can register through our call center, which is 978-958-9057. Again, that is 978-958-9057. Our call center is open every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, beginning at 10 a.m. and ending between 2 and 3 p.m., depending on the call volume that we're receiving. I also understand that many people who have tried to call the call center have experienced somewhat of a backlog when you first try to call. One of the things we're noticing on the trends that we're seeing here is that the majority of our calls are coming in between 10 o'clock in the morning and 11 o'clock in the morning. However, between 11 and 2, the number of calls that we receive actually drop drastically. And we haven't been using all of the appointments that have been allotted to the call center because the number of calls just simply are not calling in. So if you're looking to register over the phone, I highly suggest you try calling between the hours of 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. because again, the big rush we're receiving is during that first hour. Also then, at the end of the day, after the call center employees are sent home, all of the remaining appointments that they had available to them that were not booked because they were either taking too many calls, in which case they had to fill out the forms and couldn't get to the full number of appointments, or they just didn't have the calls come in to fill every appointment they had available to them, are then put into the online registration system. So if you check the online form around 3 o'clock, 3:30, there probably are going to be some new appointments available that weren't there during the morning. So please do keep an eye out during those time periods if you're having any issues registering for a vaccine. Furthermore, as always, we are reserving 2 hours of appointments for anyone who contacts their primary care physician saying that they're having a hard time registering for a vaccine. So they do have times allotted to them specifically that if you call your doctor's office, they can get you into the clinic that way as well. So there are several options there for people to register, particularly now that we have such an increased population that is eligible to receive the vaccine. So please do check up on those. And as always, thank you very much to Haywood Hospital, the volunteers at the clinic, the city staff who has helped staff the clinic, and the nursing students at Mount Wachusett Community College for really making that clinic a possibility and helping us really vaccinate our community and our region so that we can get out from under this pandemic as soon as possible. I also want to thank our call center employees, our IT director, Bob O'Keefe, our state representative, Jonathan Zlotnick, and my aide, Colin Smith, who this past week actually helped out the town of Winchendon with their vaccination program. Winchendon was marked by the state as a location that was really having some difficulties advertising for vaccine events and having its residents vaccinated. When you look at the state numbers that get released on a weekly basis, Winchendon was on the lower end of the communities that had a percentage of the population vaccinated already. So they provided some doses specifically for Winchendon residents to try to help bump them back up in that trend. And they reached out to us and asked if they could use our call center to help register those appointments, and we were able to fill all 300 appointments that they had registered for them. Again, our goal is to make sure that Gardner is really leading the region in this vaccination program, and that's really what we're seeing. You know, we don't have what we're seeing here at the PACC anywhere else in north central Massachusetts: Fitchburg, Leominster, Winchendon, Westminster, Ashburnham. We are really the one in charge of helping to lead the region in this process, and I'm really happy to see that Gardner was the one who was able to, you know, put ourselves on the map for this. And I look forward to seeing how we can continue to make sure that we continue in that positive trend as we move forward in that process as well. This past week, Secretary Mike Keneally from the Executive Office of Housing and Economic Development in Governor Baker's cabinet, as well as Director Dan Rivera from Mass Development, one of the state agencies that oversees the economic development projects here in the Commonwealth, came out to Gardner for a quick tour of the different projects that we have planned here in the city of Gardner. Places that we took them to was the old Rome building at the corner of Main and Willow Street, rear Main Street between the police station and the library, some places in the downtown, and the Mill Street corridor, to review the different programs and projects that we have coming down the pipeline in those areas. We received some very positive feedback, and I'm really looking forward to see how we can continue to work with our partners at the state level to help bring about some new life into the Gardner area and help improve our business community and our economic standing here in the north central Massachusetts region. The Farmers to Family Food Box program is continuing over at the Community Action Center on Pleasant Street. Again, our allotment is only 210 boxes. So in order to make sure that we are meeting the need in the community, the CAC is launching a pre-registration system so that if you want to participate in the Farmers to Families Food Box program, just call up the CAC and they will put you on the list. Again, due to the limited number, we are required to do this pre-registration system, but the CAC has been a great partner in making sure that those who need this program the most really get that outreach so that they know the program is coming. I really want to thank Julie Meehan from the CAC and our state representative John Zlotnick for really partnering with the city to get this program back in the Gardner area and get us off the wait list that we were previously put on. This is something that I really think shows just how well we work as a team here in north central Massachusetts, but particularly here in Gardner. If you look at other places across the state, you know, Fitchburg, Leominster, Springfield, Holyoke, other areas out east as well, they haven't had the Farmers to Family Food Box program at all, but we have been able, this is the fourth time that Gardner was selected to participate in the program. And that's because we have the team ready to go, we have the infrastructure we need ready to distribute, and we know how to get the outreach out to the public to make sure that those that really need this program are getting the services that they, quite frankly, deserve. So I really do want to thank everyone who really has been involved in this teamwork effort to make sure that Gardner is able to provide for our most vulnerable in our population with this very important program. So thank you very much to everyone involved. The downtown paving projects are getting more solidified as we move closer to the date that those will begin. As we announced last week, the crews will be out in the downtown between May 1st and May 3rd to begin raising the metal structures, the manholes, the sewer caps, and the storm drains, and all of the other National Grid and Verizon caps in the streets. Those will have to come up an additional 2 inches to account for the additional pavement that would be put on when we put the second coat over the binder coat that was added last fall. Now, those structures getting raised will take about 2 weeks to complete, and then between May 18th and May 21st, crews will come out and pave the downtown with that final coat of pavement in those areas. Again, the work on Parker Street, which will be new water and sewer infrastructure as well as upgrades to the sidewalks and lightings, we expect that to take place sometime in mid-June. For that to start there. But the work that you're seeing done in early May is the final step for the work that was done last year. If you remember last year when we put the base coat on, some of the businesses asked us that since the economy was reopening after the COVID-19 shutdown around that time, and the Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas holidays were also coming up, if we would wait to continue that work until the springtime, that way they had some time to get back on their feet after everything that happened last year with the COVID-19 shutdown. So we adhered to their request, and we are doing the final work now, and it's very exciting to see this project can finish out phase 1 and slowly move on to phase 2 as we move on to the next section of the downtown area. Again, when that starts, We'll be looking at City Hall Avenue, Nichols Street, and Pleasant Street on day 1 of those projects, Main Street on day 2, and Vernon and Central on day 3. And we say day 1, day 2, day 3 because, again, it is all weather dependent as to how that schedule runs from one day to the next. But that will be continuing there. Crews will be out in Acadia Road shortly to install a new drainage line in that area, and they will be back to pulverize the road and grind up the road and repave it after that sometime in June. So the work on the new water line will be starting shortly, and then the paving project for that street will be done probably sometime mid to late June on that end. We're also working on our paving projects on Nadeau Street. On April 30th, crews will be out to lower all of the metal structures in the street, pulverizing the road and grading the pavement down a couple inches to account for the new tar that will be put on as part of the new asphalt coat will begin on May 4th. And then the binder coat of pavement, which is the base layer, will be paved on May 7th. That will then sit for the springtime, and then we'll come back next year and put the final second coat of pavement over on Nadeau Street. When crews are out on May 7th putting the base coat of pavement on, that's when they will also be out to pave the new parking lot, basketball court, and walking trail over at Oval Case Park where we were there last week. So those pictures we showed you last week when we were over at Oval Case Playground, all of that will be done on May 7th, including the walking trail that surrounds that park as well. The Gardner citywide cleanup done by the Keep Gardner Beautiful Foundation will be held on May 1st. Registration for that is available on their Facebook page, Keep Gardner Beautiful, or you can contact the Mayor's Office or the Board of Health, and we will be happy to help share that information with Diane LeBlanc for her cleanup purposes. There will be food provided this year, so she's just looking for a preliminary head count so she knows how much food to order for the event. Some of you may remember Diane as we awarded her the Citizen of the Year award this past January, and she is continuing to do her great work with Keep Gardner Beautiful, and we can't thank her enough for keeping this going and making this a real annual tradition here in the city of Gardner. So thank you very much, Diane, for all you do. City Hall will be closed this coming Monday, April 14th, in observance of Patriots Day, and we will resume our operations on Tuesday morning. So please know that if you need anything on Monday, check the online systems first, or if not, you'll have to wait till Tuesday because the offices will be closed. The last thing that I would like to just remind everyone is that April is Autism Awareness Month, so both of our public safety departments are releasing their own autism awareness patches at our fire and police department, and they both have their own t-shirts available for sale as well. So please feel free to stop by either of our two stations. They are both fully open to the public now, to see if you'd like any of the apparel that either of the associations are selling, and the money gained from these sales all goes to a local charity in the end as well. And that concludes this week's update. Thank you very much for listening. In the meantime, before we speak again, please keep track of your own mental and physical health during these trying times. Please look out for yourself and others. Try to get outside and do something to get your mind out of the craziness of the world, and just take a time to take a breath and relax. And I look forward to speaking with you again next week. Thank you very much, and have a good day.